Hi everybody, Gary Rolfe here again. 40 years of experience in the car business. But before we start on today's car, I'd like to just thank all of you that took the time to watch the last video and pass on some comments, and hopefully that's been really helpful. Today we're going to do something different. I'm looking at a car on behalf of a client today for a 17-year-old son. The car we're looking at is a VW Polo Moda. Let's have a look. So here we are, Polo 1.2. Obviously that's low on insurance, dry, insurable for these young people. But what we want to know is this car safe? Unfortunately, there are a lot of cars out there that haven't been recorded, and they're back out on the streets having been insurance write-offs and things, and we just want to make sure that we're not putting our young people into these sort of cars because they're dangerous. So let's start. Let's have a look at this. So here we go. Here, we've got the wheel's got scrapes on it. It's going to have scrapes. This sort of market, money, you've got to accept a few things. It's going to have bumps and bruises, and quite likely this car's been a other first-time driver's car in its past. So what we look for here is just making sure there's no great big chunks or anything that's totally untoward with it. It's fine, it's okay, not particularly lovely to look at, but it's okay. Here we have got some exterior rust. Underneath, it's fine, there's no holes here. If you've got a friendly mechanic, and you're thinking about buying this sort of car and this sort of things there, you can ask them if they put it up on a ramp, or get one of the big sort of companies, AA, Green Flag, to do a full inspection, although sometimes they make a good car look bad. But it's only superficial, this. What we're going to do here is just have a look inside of this door shut, above where that is, just see if we've got anything that's really starting to wear, but it's not. There's no soft metal there. That's all okay. All good. And then we're into this back door and rear quarter. Now I can see that this car has had some paint work in this area. This little swage here is a bit out of shape. It's been filled. The paint's crazing here around the fuel, but it's not the fuel that's made it do that. It's just been painted. Not great, but that's fine at this age and mileage. It's a 2011 car, but what we want to know is, has it all been concertinaed in here? So you want to look in the door shuts, make sure we're all good. Have a look here, centre post, all good. And also, this is a great giveaway. People that put these sort of cars back onto the road, they don't go out and buy new doors. They repair them and put loads of filler in them, but it's all good, it's original, so we're happy with that. That's good. Again, rear wheel, tyres good, scrapes, but no great big lumps out of it. You can crack these alloys. Obviously, if it had a big chunk out of this rim, then we'd be thinking, oh God, we've got to replace that or do something with it. But this is fine, it's cosmetic. You can actually get these wheels refurbished if you wanted to, quite cheaply. So that's that. Here, I noticed before, it's got some dents in through here, but we're going to have a look round and inside this boot in a moment, just to make sure that isn't anything where the car's been, rear-ended or anything like that. So, a few little ding dents here, nothing. It's cosmetic. You've got to expect it. You've got to expect this age. These age of vehicles, they are a really tough market. If you can buy great ones, you could sell them all day, but it's just trying to find the right cars. So going back to this, have a look around here, have a look at this seam, compare it to the other side. You've got a mirror image. It should look exactly the same. If it isn't, and that's all done, then you think, has it been smashed in the rear quarter? And they just haven't bothered repairing that part of the roof. But that's all good. Matches this side. That's all fine, that's good. In here in the boot, try and get down to the metal. Don't, and some of these have a black sealant, cover in them. Get it out the way so you can have a look round here. Obviously, good sign, this has still got the original factory sticker, which is the spec, the colours and the trim colours, everything. If this has been replaced, this is gone. It's only a stick on paper thing with a Volkswagen. So we're all good there. that's okay, happy to see that. Around here again, the wheels all scraped, but nothing that I would think had impacted or cracked any alloy or anything like that. That's fine. Tyres good. We went through the wear marker thing, but you know, if you're worried about tyre depth, if you run your fingers through, you can feel the wear markers inside. That's good. Here, it's also been painted this side, but a bit better than the other side. But it's still been done, you know. And here shows it. This is a perfect way to look. Just look in here. This has even got a dry edge. They've painted it so thick. Where they haven't done that correctly. But again, we're worried about is the actual inner door shut. Does that look like that's had some big repairs? Which it hasn't. It's all good. No, we're all good there. All good. So here again, we have a little bit of a rust mark here. This would be a chip mark that hasn't been treated. You could have stopped that by touching it in. And a couple of ding dents through here. I think this car's had something in the garage. People put things above them and they get dropped on them. I've seen it a million times, but there's nothing untoward up there. Come down here, door. Again, a bit of bubbling on this sill. The best, you know, on a sort of dealer sort of inspection, you can't get your fingers through anything. You can't push it away. It's cosmetic. But most probably in the future will need to be treated. But just to have a look above it, make sure we're all good and solid here, which we are. So what's nice to see here is we've still got the Volkswagen sticker still here with the chassis number showing, and also the airbag sticker. That all goes to show that the actual main frame of this vehicle is still original from the factory. Yes, the doors may have had some paintwork and bits and pieces, but we've checked the inner frames of the doors. They're all good. And it's just something you've got to live with this age of vehicle. So I've done an HPI check before I've come to look at this car, just so I'm armed with it. And what you're looking for here is, yes, the vehicle ID, they recognise the car, denotes that we haven't got two halves of two cars put together. Stolen, no. Finance, no. Security watch, no. Insurance write-off, no. Insurance write-off. Theft, no. Condition inspected, no. You want all of those to say no. You don't want them to be like it's, you know, one thing or the other. They've either yes it's clear or no it isn't. In my opinion, if it isn't clear, unless you don't mind buying cars that have been damaged and put back on the road, then just walk away from it. Hence, I did this test before I went. I just did the check because I wouldn't have wasted my time basically. And here I've also printed off free of charge the check MOT history of the Gov website. So what this does is it obviously just confirms mileage from the point where it needed MOTing, 3 years old. So I can quickly have a look, make sure we haven't got any massive discrepancies through the run of the car each year as it's been MOT'd. But also, more importantly, I just want to see what, if any, the failures were on the last MOT, or this section here, what the advisories were. So advisories on this: near side front seatbelt buckle, near side front tyre. I know these have been replaced because as I've walked round, I've looked, the tyres have been replaced, but it's a good reference because these have been done. These have been put onto this system by professional MOT people, and they know what they're looking at. And if they say it needs looking at in the near future, it needs looking at in the near future, even though it's gone through an MOT. So a good way of checking. So, okay, on the HPI certification, we obviously get a chassis number. So what we're going to do is have a look on the vehicle and make sure the chassis number that DVLA hold and HPI hold are the same as on the car, which it is, which denotes to me and tells me that this car is totally recognisable by DVLA, and it absolutely is what it is, a Polo 1.2, and that's all just off of putting the registration number in. So now we're just going to have a last look at this front wing. Again, it's had a bit of paintwork, but it's okay. the seams match up okay, the wheel edges again are scraped, but you're going to find this, you know, and believe me, your 17-year-old daughter, son, they're going to scrape the wheels. We all do it. So, you know, it's something you've got to live with at this price range. So that's that. So let's have a look at the front here. From a distance, this front bumper looks really good. It's nice and square. The headlights are all sitting in properly, but a closer inspection, it's been painted in its life. You can see we've got paint flaking around the bottom here and underneath the grille. Does that mean this car's necessarily been in a massive, great big accident? No, but there's ways of checking that and making sure. So let's first off have a look at the bonnet gap to the wings. In dreadful cases, the gap that runs along here, they can be touching. I've seen them touching each other. It's awful, you know. But on this car here, this is a really good gap. It pretty well runs even, what I'd expect. And here, this side, the gap runs even. So hopefully, you know, it's just had some cosmetic paint, which we've spoken about around this car. But let's open up the bonnet and actually have a proper look to make sure. So again, as we mentioned in the first video, it's the same sort of thing here we're looking for. We're looking for stickers that were original from the factory. Got the air conditioning sticker here, on the back of the headlights here, sticker that side, headlights. These all mean that these really are still factory and not pattern parts, which would tell me that this car hasn't had a massive big front end accident. Also, with this car, you're lucky because you can get in and look at the chassis legs, and what they do when they've had front ends, it concertinas these legs in, and they just fill them. They pull them out, fill them, they lose their tensile strength, and you've got your 17-year-old son and daughter driving around in that when there's no strength at the front end of the car, because these bumpers are plastic. All of the strength of the vehicle is in here, especially around the front end. I look for obvious oil leaks. Most cars now have a pan underneath and they just pull, the oil just pulls in the bottom. This is fine, it's all good and dry. If you're really concerned, I would either suggest you walk away or you get a mechanical inspection. You know, the AA, RAC, they do a full check for you and can do that side of it. But under here, to me, it's all very original. You know, when everything gets concertinaed back in a big accident, all of this gets smashed. It all gets smashed because that's what it's designed to do, to fold away, to take the impact. You know, the days are gone where chassis legs were made of steel that you couldn't, they've got to give to absorb some of the impact. So it's very hard to pull it out, and it's wrong to pull it out, because once you've pulled that back out and you've unconcertinaed them, you've totally lost the tensile strength in that steel. It's dangerous, it shouldn't happen, you know. And this is really what this video is about, just trying to guide you along the way from not buying category write-off cars that are put back on to the road and sold as good. So it's worth making all these checks. So really, I'm quite happy with this car. I know there's marks, we've spoken about them, and it's had some paintwork, but the actual shell of it, it's all good. You're going to get these marks at this price range. You've got to be a bit forgiving, but work through the checks that we've spoken about, the HPI, the VOSA. It's a very easy thing. You put the registration number in, MOT history, and it'll tell you everything. Way of confirming mileage. If a car like this car has no service history, yes, if you have a history, you can go through and do it, but this vehicle hasn't, so that's a way of checking it with the VOSA and the .gov. But now really it's down to driving it and having a feel and seeing what it see how it responds. I'm driving this because I just want to listen to the car. I also want to just feel how it is on the clutch, response wise on the engine, and just anything untoward. You know, it's years of experience. You just know when it's wrong. We're not going to drive it at 100 miles an hour. Just drive along here. Silly things, you know, especially on the roads that we live with now in the UK. It's you know, they wear out anti-roll bar bushes, track rod ends, just listening for any knocks. And just seeing how the car's going to behave, really. Where the bite point is on the clutch, making sure the clutch isn't heavy, agricultural. It should not be, especially with this with a Polo, nice and smooth. What we're looking for and listening for on this car is very much the same and can be applied to a £5,000 car or a 20, 30, 40,000 pound car. We don't want to drive down the road in any car listening to knocks, bangs, you know, from the suspension units. And although it's older and it won't be as tight as a newer car, let's say in the last video we shot the M2, very low mileage, it still needs to feel together. It doesn't want to feel like it's all over the road here. Obviously that it drives in a straight line, basics, but it's not pulling violently to the left or the right. Take into consideration that the road's got a bit of camber, so it will want to wander to the left hand side most probably, but shouldn't be sort of fighting it. Gearbox is all nice and smooth. Quite often with this sort of price range car, you know, you've had other young drivers that have passed their test, and the synchros on the gearbox, it can just feel notchy, and you'd know straight away it's not a professional art. You'll go to put it from first to second, second to third, and it just won't really want to know. It's sort of, you've got to force it in, whether it's been driven hard or just driven badly. It all drives great. What we're going to do here is going to pull over and just run through the car while I have it out, and I'm just out with the car on my own here. So we do the same as the M2 manual. We just do this clutch test, so get the handbrake well on here and put it into first gear first off. Don't release the handbrake obviously, and just let it pull itself away from the brake. Yeah, it's good. Reverse, and what you'll get here, if the clutch is sort of on its way out, you can even hear a squeak. It might spin, but it's good. That's just the handbrake, the pads on the back, just going away with the force of it. So okay, that's good, happy with that. So let's just check here. I know it's only a basic thing. I put my glasses on. I got this MOT history that we printed off, we've spoken about, but you know, just a basic easy thing here is last MOT the mileage was at 64,385 and it's now 67,157. That's perfect, that's fine. A little bit sort of like sucking eggs, but obviously we don't want to look at this. It's worth making the point to just check it, because if it's showing 50,000 miles and the last MOT was at 64, obviously we know there's a problem. Something's been messed around with, and we don't want that. But it's all good. So here I'm sitting here, I'm just going to check through windows, central locking, electric mirrors, air conditioning if the car's got air conditioning that you're looking at. So let's just have a look at this. Good. Driver's window, driver's rear, good. Passenger front, good. Passenger rear, good. Mirrors electric. Passenger side, all good. Driver's side, all good. So we're happy there. So let's look at this air conditioning. Obviously we want to be down to the blue here. First off, what I do is I just run it and just get the outside ambient air temperature coming in, which it is. This has got a AC air conditioning switch to turn on the compressor, which pumps the cold air. So here we go, turn that on, and obviously we want to feel a real drop in temperature here, which it does, which is great. If it doesn't, it could be as simple as just regassing, which normally 40 to 60 pounds depending. But if it doesn't just need that, it could be the condenser, which is where the air conditioner exchanges. Basically, it looks like a radiator, normally around the £400 mark, and if it's the pump, circa £1,000 or thereabouts. But this all works fine, so that's good. Pleased with that. Radio, give that a go. Young guy's going to drive this, so he's definitely going to want to be able to get some music. So we're good, that works. Reset the trip if you like, little trick I do just for the final journey, just to make sure the thing's counting itself properly. I've had many cars where it's showing, let's say 67,000, but when you actually set it to 0 and drive it up the road, it's not counting properly on the miles. So central locking, yeah, that's locking in place, we're all good. Unlock, good. Let's check the wipers. Yeah, all good. Second speed, third speed. Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. So, final little bit of drive back to its home. But really pleased with this car. You know, the points that we touch base on, the marks, the wheels, they're all cosmetic. You know, at this age of car and this price range, it's that, you know, how the car's holding together, that's more important than a few bruise marks. You know, if I had this car a week, you know, you can turn it round with the wheels and a bit of paint and a great valet to, you know, electric mop the body. But the actual vehicle itself is good, and I shall recommend that it's absolutely perfect for my client's son. Yeah, and the good thing is, if you buy the right little car, and Polos are the right little car, I'm not saying that's all you can go out and buy, but they hold their money so well because they're a rarity. Not the Polo, but just this price range of car. It's really hard to find. Looks like there's thousands of them out there when you look, but so many of them have got lots of different stories going on that I certainly wouldn't want to put my son or daughter in. It's a good car, drives really well. Okay, so that is the test drive completed. I'm happy with that. The car drives good. We've also done the finance check. We're all clear there. We've also checked the HPI for any insurance or third-party interest in the vehicle, and we're all clear there. In my opinion, the structural side, which we've looked at, is all good. There's nothing that's totally untoward. No red flags. Yes, this car has got some paintwork around it. Yes, it has got some marks around it, but you've got to expect that. It's the actual structural side of it, the paperwork side, as in, is it all clear on all factors? To me, that's really important. I'm happy with this car, and I will be recommending my client to purchase it for her 17-year-old son. It's a perfect car. So that's the end of this video. I really hope that you have found it useful, take some information away from it. If you have, please subscribe. We have more videos on the way, covering an assortment of things. But thank you for joining me this time, and hopefully see you soon.